and welcome to today's webinar on what habits help those successful speakers become successful, become great, become admired by their speakers who are held in high esteem. What is it that they do? So Peter Dew's my name, public speaking trainer and coach. And as a professional speaker, I also have to watch, observe, facilitators and educators. And there are those things that I notice that people continually do that help elevate them to a higher level of training of public speaking. So I want to share some of the things that I've observed that I think will add value to you in your future presentations, in your future workshops, in your future training sessions. I mentioned Peter Dew's my name. Please reach out to me after the webinar if you have any further questions. My passion is helping people like yourselves to confidently, effectively, and with influence, get your messages across. Because my fundamental belief is that what you have to say matters, and being able to confidently share your knowledge, your experience, your passion with your communities, with your people that need to hear what you've got to say is really important. And I love to help people who have fear, who avoid, who don't put themselves forward. Maybe they're an introvert, so they don't speak up, but what you've got to say matters. So I want to encourage you to adopt some of these habits, push through your fears, your self-doubts, and share your messages confidently and effectively. Let's get started. What is the first habit? I noticed that successful speakers do amazing preparation, exceptional preparation. And what do I mean by this? I mean, they know their audience. They arrive early. They chat to the early people who come. They do a pre-workshop survey. They ring up the CEO, the boss, and ask them, what's the issues that your organization's facing? What is troubling your staff? What are your goals, ambitions? They know the topic really well. They're researched. They know the latest information, the latest data that supports what they're talking about. These speakers arrive at the venue early, they set up, they make sure all the equipment's working. If there's any audio-visual challenges, they get them eliminated first. They arrive early when there's big conferences. They introduce themselves to the audio-visual team, let them know who they are. They make sure the audio-visual team has got their PowerPoint presentation or their videos, whatever supporting information they have that they want the AV team to run. And they'll even run through it and check out if there's any issues. And they'll know about their audience in terms of what are the issues, what are the emotions, what are the concerns around what they're speaking about. Are they delivering bad news? How are they going to tailor this bad news for that audience? Are they delivering good news? All of this is making sure you know your audience really, really well. You know your venue really, really well. What sort of microphone are you going to have? You stand on the platform early. You walk on the stage before anyone's there and just get that sense, that feeling. All of this is exceptional preparation. The reverse of this is the audience sits down, we're waiting, and then the speaker comes on and fumbles their notes and, oh, why isn't the internet working? And just give me a moment and I'll be with you. And this looks disorganized. And if I was the presenter, this would make me nervous and anxious because I'm clearly not ready. So the importance of doing your preparation is one of those habits that you can get into that'll just elevate your effectiveness, your confidence, and your ability to influence your audience. I remember listening to Max Walker talking once about public speaking, and he made the habit of being the first to arrive at any seminar he was working on, any workshop he was delivering, first to arrive, get familiar, and it was also the last to leave. So he'd stay back and answer questions. And his philosophy was he was there to serve his audience. Effective, great speakers speak without notes. So get in the habit of speaking extemporaneously. That doesn't mean spontaneously. That doesn't mean off the cuff, making it up as you go. It means knowing your content so well that you're able to speak largely without notes. You may have a mind map or a one-page bullet points, but you're not standing there reading your presentation from your notes, sort of word by word. There's a recent YouTube clip, news clip of Boris Johnson, Prime Minister of UK at the moment, and he's doing a presentation at a conference, an industry conference about innovation, about technology, and he gets his notes jumbled up and he loses it. And it takes him about 2 minutes to recover. And he says, excuse me, I'm sorry. And he's shuffling his notes. And then he goes off on a little bit of a rant until he finally finds the notes he's after and goes back to reading his notes. Exceptional speakers have the ability to speak and deliver their content without their notes. So should their notes get jumbled, the show still goes on. Now, I'm not suggesting in any way that you would deliver this word for word. So speaking extemporaneously does not mean learning your script, learning your speech off by heart, as you would learning your lines for a drama performance, for theatre, where the script writer has written a script and you must follow that. No. Public speaking training is being allowed to go wherever your mind might take you, sensing what's happening in the room, that ability to adapt. Those early conversations with your preparation might trigger your decision to put in a story that seems to relate with the people you've had a quick chat with. Might change your mind to leave out a story because you've just spoken to a few people and one of the issues they chatted about was a little bit sensitive and you thought, okay, this story I was going to share in my prepared presentation may trigger some negative responses. So I'll leave that one out and put in another story. That's the power of being able to speak extemporaneously. You're able to adapt to the energy, to the feedback you're getting from your audience. In line with speaking extemporaneously and doing exceptional preparation is putting your audience first. This webinar, this online seminar is not about me. It's about the people out there listening that may be viewing it live, that may view it as the recording that I provide, that may view it on my YouTube channel later on. Always put your audience first. In other words, what's in it for your audience? What's their problem? What's keeping them awake at night? Make it about your audience. Empower your audience. Why do they care about what you're talking about? And one of the things I also teach in public speaking is the power of storytelling. And when you tell your stories, it's not just about your stories. It's about making your audience the hero of the story so they walk out with a clear way forward, with a belief in their heart that they also can do this. As a public speaker, I always ask myself, what is in it for my audience? Why does my audience care? Why does it matter to my audience? Put your audience first, and you'll always be a great and exceptional trainer, speaker, or facilitator. It's about the audience. It's not about you. Another thing that I notice, and speaking extemporaneously is without your notes, is that great speakers come away from the lectern. This is a podcasting microphone. This is anchored. When I speak at conferences, when I speak on stage, I have a lapel microphone, or sometimes those Madonna ones, which are, they have the little mouthpiece, but the lapel just pins to my shirt. You run the cord down the back and you have the battery pack, and that enables me to walk around and use the platform. When I'm running workshops virtually, I also walk around. I'm standing up, by the way, as you've noticed, but when I'm running workshops, one of the things I like to do online, I also like to use my flip chart. So I've got my PowerPoint slide, but I also like to use my flip chart. And I'll bring that in, and I'll change cameras, by the way. So I won't have to move this in. I'll just switch to a camera that was already set on that flip chart. And I'll be able to move over and with my whiteboard marker, reveal something. And it may be something to do with brainstorming. It may be something to do with feedback from the audience. When you're presenting live, have the courage to come away from the lectern. What it means is there's nothing between you and the audience. They see all of you, and it enables your gestures to become more appropriate, more engaging, more aligned with what you're saying. Standing behind the lectern, I see people lean on the lectern, they do lectern lean, or they do white knuckle fever where they grab the lectern and their knuckles turn white. Come away from the lectern. Remove barriers between you and your audience. When I do training, I go into a U shape, and at the end of the U shape is the open bit, which is where I stand. I don't present workshops behind a table. I don't stand behind a table. That enables me to move around, engage people one-on-one, step back, engage the group with no barriers between me and you. All the great speakers come away from the lectern. Another habit to get into is exceptional speakers. They're passionate about their topic. They're excited to be sharing their knowledge and experience. So here's a question to ask yourself when you're presenting or training on a topic. Am I really passionate about this? Or am I just doing it because I've been told to? Am I just going through the motions of this occupational health and safety training, this human resource equal opportunity training because it's my job and I have to do it? Or am I excited about the topic and is there passion? In terms of public speaking, I love seeing people in my workshops halfway through, walk out at the end of the day with that light bulb moment, with that realization they can do great public speaking. They've come to my workshop with fear, with trepidation, with self-doubt around their ability to do public speaking. And they walk out with the knowledge and the belief in themselves they can now do public speaking. That makes me really excited. And I go into every workshop with passion and energy. The next habit to get in as a public speaker and trainer, and it's very much related to the passion, you need to believe 100% in your own message. What do I mean by 100% in your own message? You have to be aligned. You have to be congruent with what you're saying. Conviction in your own message. If the head office or human resources sends you down a policy, a change management process that you now need to deliver, and you're thinking to yourself, I don't agree with that. I think that's a stupid idea. That's fundamentally against what I believe in. And then you go and give that message. You understand your audience will realize you're not aligned with your message. So in terms of jargon or a saying, one of the things we say is the first sale must be to yourself. The first sale in the message you're delivering must be to yourself. If you're not congruent, if you don't believe in your own message, why would anyone else believe in it? So your actions, the way you conduct yourself must be aligned, must be congruent. And we've heard the saying, you need to walk the talk. So where you'll go wrong as a trainer, and I have seen this, is the time management guru. I'm going to save you half an hour a day. I'm going to show you some methodology that will really help you become more efficient. Who starts 5 minutes late? Who ends the day 15 minutes late because they didn't get through their content? That non-congruence of their actions, to me, will dilute their credibility and their ability to train me in time management. For me to believe what they've taught me will help me in my time management. If you're a time management guru, you will start on time and you will finish before the end time. Make sure your message that you're 100% congruent with it. And a bonus tip. Effective speakers, great speakers, have a clear outcome, a clear goal in their mind for their audience. I call it a purpose-driven conversation, a purpose-driven presentation. So at the end of this webinar, you'll have 6 ideas, 6 tips that you can use. And if you develop them regularly as a habit, will elevate your ability as a public speaker, as a trainer, as a facilitator. So it's the clarity of purpose. Why are you having the conversation with that audience? What are the outcomes you want to occur? In terms of outcomes, I frame it like this. What do you want people to think? What do you want people to feel? And what do you want people to do after you've spoken? Think, that'll be the new knowledge. That'll be the strategies. That'll be the processes. That'll be the practices. Feel, that'll be the emotions. What emotional journey do you want to take them on? That belief in themselves, that I see a way forward for overcoming this problem. I can now see how I can improve my project management processes. And what do you want them to do? That's the action you want them to take. New knowledge, greater emotions and understanding, and some action, some steps. Do you know what you want your audience to do afterwards? And one of the things I see with exceptional speakers is this message, this purpose-driven presentation, as an unequivocal message. It cannot be misinterpreted. Everyone in the room, all 10 people, all 50 people, all 500 people walk out on the same page with an unequivocal message. That is one of the habits that great speakers do. They're so clear on what is the purpose of this presentation. I was running a workshop once and a very confident supervisor was there, and they were there because they were sent by the CEO and they felt they didn't need any public speaking training. And one of the things I do is I get people to create and craft a mini presentation during the workshop. I get them to deliver it, and then I get everyone else in the room to write down that one sentence or that one short paragraph that captures what the message was. What was the message you've just heard from the speaker? And then I get them to read out what they've written down. And those that deliver an unequivocal message get 8, 9, 10 people reading out the same message. And those that have done sort of random messages, I sometimes call that scattergun approach, get different messages read out. And they realize the audience has got no idea what their unequivocal, purpose-driven message was. Get in the habit of making sure you're clear of what the message is. Get in the habit of testing it. Do a post-presentation survey. What was the one message you took away from this morning's pre-start meeting, to this morning's project update? What did you get out of today's lunch and learn meeting? Do a post-event survey, and hopefully you're all going to get the same thing. That will be clarity of purpose, a clear message. So in summary, the habits that you can get into to elevate your speaking to the next level is do great preparation. Know who's in the room, know your audience, know the venue, arrive early. Are there any issues you need to be aware of? Learn to speak without notes, extemporaneously. It's going to make a big difference. Focus on the audience. Why does this matter to them? Come away from the lectern, if you can, ask for a lapel microphone or one of those headset microphones or a handheld microphone. Handheld microphones are my least preferred, but I will use them rather than one anchored. This one is anchored. The handheld microphone limits your gestures, but come away from the lectern, have some passion about what you're speaking about, and believe 100% in your own message, that conviction. There's some habits. Along with the bonus tip, have that clarity of purpose, a purpose-driven presentation that'll really elevate your effectiveness as a public speaker. Next presentation I've got coming up on 24th of January is speak authentically as a speaker. Authenticity is everything. How can you become more authentic? How can you be less fake, less rehearsed, less of a performance? And how do you show, I spoke about being aligned with your message, being congruent. How do you demonstrate that authenticity, that alignment with what you're saying? Workshop coming up in February in Perth, thinking and speaking off the cuff. You know how to reach me. Peter Dew's my name, public speaking trainer and coach. And remember, simple habits such as doing your preparation, speaking without notes, focusing on the audience, coming away from the lectern, have that passion show through and be congruent and believe 100% in your message will really elevate your public speaking performance. This is Peter Dew, public speaking trainer and coach.